Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're covering the first live-action G.I Joe movie, The Rise of Cobra. This time with my alpha twin, Bennet Dudley!
Hey! How's it going?
In this take on the franchise, an elite military unit known as G.I Joe, Operation of the Pit, takes on the evil organization Cobra, led by a notorious arms dealer.
Yeah, and before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and click notification bell to get updates on future podcasts and World of Paws videos.
Absolutely. So, it looks like Bennet is our resident G.I Joe expert, so he's here to guide us along.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess I consider myself a G.I. Joe expert in some of that area, especially if it's somewhat tied in with the Transformers franchise in some ways.
Yeah.
Right, true.
Well, this was our first G.I. Joe movie. I know you'd watched part of a series, but this is
Yes.
the first movie we actually watched together.
Yes, I saw the Renegades animated series. I actually saw it when they had it available on our cable service before they took it off, and I enjoyed it. Yes, and yes, it recommended by Dudley, and it was really, really good. It was like the first thing I had seen of G.I. Joe.
So how
Yeah,
does...
that was a really good show.
Yeah, I don't know why they canceled it. Oh.
So how does Rise of Cobra fit in within the timeline of the franchise?
Yeah, it was like sort of like a modern take of G.I. Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, sort of like I think they might have been trying to set up, like, say, kind of like a MCU, but with Hasbro.
Oh, okay.
Where the Joes are kind of tied in with the Transformers, or at least that's what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
That they were planning to do like a crossover, but it never really happened.
That's too bad.
Oh.
They could have been first before, Marvel and other ones
Right.
making that universe.
Right. So I think they did
Yeah.
some in the comics, but that's it.
Mhm.
So, okay.
And then you had some people who weren't stars at the time, like Channing Tatum
Mm-hmm.
and one of the Wayans brothers. I forgot which
Wow,
one.
you forgot the name.
Yes, I forgot which one. Okay. Anyway, do you remember?
No.
Do you remember Bennet? Which Wayans brother is it that's in this movie?
One of the Wayans brothers was Marlon Wayans.
Thank you. See?
Okay, thanks.
One of us knew, yeah.
Right.
But they weren't big stars at the time, and now of course Channing Tatum is huge, and the Wayans brothers working behind the scenes, producing and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it was interesting that in this movie they had a lot of women that were in key roles, because now we see things and they go, oh, we're being advanced and now women are taking front and center. But in here it looked like an equal division of power, not only for the hero characters but also for the villain characters.
Yeah, true.
Way ahead of time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly like how it was with the G1 cartoon in the 70s, where Baroness, one of the villains, she's not like some petty woman. She's like a serious threat, not just Cobra Commander. And Scarlet, she was like one of the main heroines of the franchise at the time, and she still kind of is to this day.
Yeah, I can tell she's real popular.
I think so far we've seen her each version now. She stays in there.
And so was this the first movie to come out for this franchise, first theatrical movie?
Yeah, it was the very first live action movie that's about G.I. Joe. There have been a couple of animated, like, CGI movies. I forgot what they were about, but yeah, this was like the first live action G.I. Joe.
So based on all of our combined knowledge and experience watching action movies, fantasy and superheroes and I don't want to say that because, you know,
Well.
after Artemis Fowl, but we'll say we'll say movies based on toy franchises.
Yes.
We'll put it that way. How would you rate this movie in terms of how well it did in representing the franchise, especially way ahead of everyone else?
Well, to me, I always thought it did good with the action and also adding a little bit of humor. But there are some fans who weren't really too happy with this version, like say Cobra Commander turning out to be this scientist who ended up getting caught in some sort of explosion but nearly survived. And I don't think people were really happy that he's actually the brother of Baroness, and that Baroness is the love interest for Duke. And yeah, I can understand how that could be upsetting to some of the fans who love this franchise. But overall, I think it was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a fun action science fiction movie, just as any version of G.I. Joe.
I think for us it was a great plot twist. I mean, nothing.
I
It was like, oh, whoa.
I always thought it was weird with Baroness and Duke because I had seen Renegades and there was like nothing ever at all, and then seeing this movie it was kind of like, ew, what the hell did that come from? There's just something. It's just.
Yeah, the thing is, it was always her and Destro, or James McCullen, as he referred to her throughout the whole movie.
Right.
And they were even a couple in the original cartoon, believe it or not.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The most impressive part to me was when Snake Eyes was a kid and he was being trained and he was doing the practicing, and I kept going, who the hell are these kids?
Right?
These kids are great actors. This is the story here.
Yes,
This is the story.
That should have been the Snake Eyes origin movie.
The fight was intense. It was awesome. I was like lifting off the seat watching it, and it was like, this should have been the movie. This should have been the movie.
Yeah, that was your favorite part. I was like, why didn't they have this for the actual Snake Eyes origin movie instead of change it to everything else?
That would have been awesome. That was the most brilliant part. I was like, wow. Oh my God, these kids. It was almost like they had filmed all this and then they decided to insert it into the movie. It really didn't belong with the movie, and it was so far above the rest of the movie. It's like you kind of could see where they wanted to go with it, just with that one part of the movie.
Right.
And it was like, wow. So I know for me that was the best part. I could not believe the intensity and of the scene and the backstory. Of course, again, I didn't know anything, and the backstory was like, oh no, and it kind of reminded me of Rush Hour, when Jackie Chan's character, he and Kenji, the one who plays Scorpion in the new Mortal Kombat movie, and he kind of betrayed him. It reminded me of that backstory.
Yeah, true. Well, I think for me, I only know the story because of Renegades, and it sounds like they kept that accurate, despite it being a new take on it. They kind of kept his backstory the same for that. So seeing the movie, kind of what was coming. So it was going to be pretty much your first time seeing it, but for me it would be my second time. They just kind of sped up some things while the show kind of put in a little more detail on how he became Snake Eyes, why he doesn't speak, and all that.
Okay. So here's the question I'm sure everyone's dying to know. Bennet, did you have G.I. Joes?
I think I used to have like a Snake Eyes and a Storm Shadow action figure, but I think I gave those away like a long, long time ago.
You gave away action figures?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
I still have my Barbies. G.I. Joe was only a boyfriend like in Toy Story. I still have them in the case.
What is this? G.I. Barbie!
I still have them in a case.
Okay.
But it's incredible how this franchise has longevity, how they keep reimagining it and making movies. And we watched on Netflix The Toys That Made Us, and we actually watched the G.I. Joe episode, which was incredibly informative and fun. And have you had an opportunity to see that on Netflix?
Oh, I gave that in my recommendation, but been able to watch it yet.
You should give it a watch. Anyone who's watching, if you haven't seen it, go to The Toys That Made Us on Netflix. There's so many awesome episodes for different toys that are still a part of our pop culture now, that have been rebooted, that just never left. And that's one of them. And I learned more than I ever knew about G.I. Joe, and so did you watching it. And it was really fun. Really fun to see how it shaped so much of pop culture and how kids play.
Yeah, pretty much. So let's see, for other things for the movies, that it had tons of action in it, like almost non-stop action. And I think about it because they said, oh, Transformers had too many explosions and too many fights and everything, but G.I. Joe's got all these fights and no one said anything about that. It's just, if they had them at one point in a bunch of these suits where they could run really fast and they couldn't get run over or anything, and that scene was pretty cool, but no one ever said anything about that, so kind of go figure.
Right.
Well, if it was made by Michael Bay, then yeah, they probably would have mentioned about all the explosions that happened.
That's what I was gonna say! Yes! You did it! You did it! Oh, great, now you're reading Mom's mind too!
Exactly. I thought the movie myself, I enjoyed it. I would watch more of the G.I. Joe franchise movies. I would give it a B+.
Yeah.
I would only say not an A because even, not knowing the franchise, there's still some things I thought could have been a little better. Some of the acting for some of the characters, a little more backstory for some of the characters.
Yeah, they tried to squeeze them in.
Right, for those who don't know much, but are watching it for the first time.
Right. And
the cliffhanger, the way it ended.
Yeah. There was even, one thing I was a little confused about, I guess it was their take, is, since Duke was a love interest for the Baroness, the one other one they had in here I thought was a little weird, they had, what was the guy's name? Was it Tripwire? Ripcord, thanks. I like it saying Tripwire! What the heck is that?
It's a new character.
Ripcord was the love interest for Scarlet. I was like, when?
Yeah, I never understood that.
Yeah, I was like,
it was funny, yeah. But
He seemed why? He even seemed uncomfortable.
Yeah,
and
like, why?
He was like, I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
Scarlet just be grown up with age, she either be one guy or two. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought it would be when they had the Renegade. I kind of thought it would be her and Snake Eyes, and then they got to here, and it's like, oh, okay, if you say so.
I agree. That's the way it seemed to me too. Not knowing anything, so
right. So yeah, movie was really really good as far as live action adaptations for anything go. At least they put more effort into this. They did put a lot more effort into making it more accurate and still making their live action changes to it. They at least tried.
More than harm is foul.
Right.
So, are there any more live action movies you would recommend to those listening that are part of this franchise that are really good and are worth watching?
Well, definitely give the Retaliation movie a chance. I mean, it's still got a lot of action and a lot of action stars, and personally, I think Cobra Commander looked a lot better in that one than he did in the first one.
Okay. So yeah, we'll have to check out that movie next. I think at one point they did have it on Netflix, like years ago when we didn't know what the heck G.I. Joe, we know anything about G.I. Joe. And then I guess at some point they switched it out and put in Rise of Cobra instead. So I guess, you know, when we can find it, we'll watch the sequel.
Well, I'm glad they did because I did enjoy watching it. And thank you so much for recommending it and my taking a chance and watching it. To me, it looks like they tried to kind of stay true to maybe the toy version or animated version when they made the movie. Is Retaliation more of, would you say, of a theatrical type movie versus this one?
Well, here's the interesting thing about the sequel. It doesn't really, like, they sort of tried to make it like a standalone. Like, they don't really mention much about some of the other characters, or well, they do mention about the nanite warheads, but that's pretty much it. I mean, it felt like they were trying to kind of like remake the live action film franchise with the sequel.
Yeah, okay. Wasn't expecting that one, so.
Say Monster Hideout.
Yeah, I guess to play it safe in case, you know, they want to do a third movie, so. Okay, then.
Well, that does it for G.I. Joe's The Rise of Cobra. If you guys have seen it before on Netflix or even prior to that, let us know what you think in the comments below. If you haven't, it's still available on Netflix to watch. And as Bennett recommended, watch G.I. Joe Retaliation, as we're going to do. And let us know if you've already seen that as well. And what are your thoughts on both movies? Do you think they fit the image of the franchise? Do you wish there was something better? Do you wish they'd done something more? Are you looking forward to more to come from this franchise? Let us know in the comments below.
Right. And be sure to like, subscribe, and click notification when updates on future podcasts and World of Paws videos.
And thank you so much, Bennett, for joining us today.
Woo!
Thank you for having me.
We know Rascal family is happy to hear you.
Yes! So, thanks so much for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And Mom Entertainments, and
Bennet Dudley.
Have a toontastic day.
peace.